You're funny.
All right.
I
will. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another Pon Pon Pod.
Very good.
Now listen, I'm going to cut straight to the chase.
Okay.
Rumor has it, growing up, you wanted to become a male prostitute.
Yeah.
Do you still have that dream?
Yeah, thank you for outing me live on TV, by the way, for that. But since it's out there, I might as well just come clean
Yes,
to my
please do.
438 strong subscribers. Ever since I saw Paul Schrader directed, Jerry Bruckheimer produced American Gigolo starring Richard Gere,
American Gigolo.
I wanted to be Julian Kay.
Okay, wow.
The
I've not
character he
seen this
plays.
film, and I didn't know that.
Shame on you.
And I didn't know that Bruckheimer was part of it.
Jerry Bruckheimer, the Helmer producer of such great, marvelous, testosterone-pounding films such as Top Gun, Beverly Hills Cop, Flashdance, Pirates of the Caribbean,
Armageddon,
etc., etc. However, with American Gigolo, his first production credit,
Good to know,
on
good
film,
to know.
right? Very, very different kind of look to what
would become his trademark.
What would become his trademark, if you catch my drift. Right? It's an extreme, but for the fact that it's an extremely stylistic film, and obviously Jerry Bruckheimer is oftentimes maligned for being a style over substance kind of producer, full of hot air. American Gigolo is obviously a very, very overly stylized film, except that it is a much more. It has a much more meaningful, much more interesting plot.
I take it it's about a male prostitute played by Richard Gere, who you not only dress like, but want to emulate in every way.
Just a coincidence I'm dressed like this. Okay,
unfortunately, you've not been that successful so far
Definitely
in life.
not.
Not that that's a bad thing. But what's the premise?
The premise is that Richard Gere is basically this gigolo, high-class gigolo, who drives one of those, since you're a motorhead, what's the Mercedes he drives on the Pacific Coast Highway
Like
in the opening scene?
The 1980s, 1970s Mercedes SL.
Outstanding.
Right.
Okay? The opening shot, kind of like blasts onto the screen with Blondie's Call Me. Right?
Anytime, any place,
anywhere, anytime, and you're there basically showcasing a movie star. This is the birth, the creation of a movie star.
So would you say it's Richard Gere's breakout role?
It's his breakout role.
Why should I watch this film?
Well, first of all, if you want to learn how to put the moves on women, I know you're a married man.
I've kind of jumped in on you telling us the premise. But...
Okay, sorry. Okay, should I go back to that?
I mean, I don't know.
All right,
just both, please.
All right. So essentially, like he's a male gigolo, and he's very highly coveted, much in demand.
Yeah.
Very popular. Speaks 5 languages. Right. Okay. An exceptional mahogany tan.
Very
okay.
Good.
I mean,
it's
a Samsonite pudding style tan.
Wow.
Okay. He's perfected it exceptionally well, even on his posterior. Okay. I'll show you that later. Okay. If you want. Okay. And he is basically like, because of the nature of his business, he is somebody who can no longer receive pleasure, can only give it. Okay? As would be the case from somebody who basically shags a lot for a living. Right. Imagine, right?
Okay.
So, he meets this woman, Lauren Hutton, the international, Swedish model. And that was her breakout role as well, okay? Didn't have much acting experience beforehand, who sees him in a bar. She locks eyes on him, okay, wearing exceptional Giorgio Armani tailored tan jacket, okay? Again, write that down.
I will.
Well, you didn't bring your notes.
These are all good reasons.
These are all good reasons, okay?
For me to watch this film.
And she locks eyes on him. She's basically a disgruntled, sexually dissatisfied wife of a high-powered senator.
Very good.
Okay? And she summons him over.
Right.
He's obviously in the hotel, right? Which is, his kind of like hunting ground, if you like, right? And she, in a very shy way, which is a great exchange, she tries to kind of solicit his services, and he turns her down because he feels sorry for her.
Right.
It's like, this is not the way it's done. But she's like, she can't stop thinking about it. She's obsessed with him. She kind of quasi-stalks him. In the end, he kind of gives her what she wants. And this kind of undercover clandestine romance breaks out, right? Yeah. Now, she's very dissatisfied, but she cannot actually go public that she is now having sexual liaisons with a male prostitute called Julian Kay.
I asked for the premise. I didn't ask you to describe the whole film.
Oh, all right. Well, okay, fine. All right. Okay. In any case, this is set against the backdrop of a murder that takes place for which he is framed.
Okay. So the premise is the guy gets framed for a murder he didn't commit.
Correct.
Okay, fine.
All right, fine. All right. Next question.
Now, why is this one of your favorites? Why should anybody want to watch it if you haven't watched it? Bit of a hidden gem, would you say?
I would say a hidden gem. Now, people have misconstrued this film. They believe it to be some sort of like high-powered, maybe kind of typical Bruckheimer heavy type film.
Right.
When it actually isn't.
All style, no substance.
Yeah, but no, but it has substance. Okay. Now it is very overly stylized, but every shot is captured by Paul Schrader so artistically. Every shot, the color scheme, the architecture, the what do you call it? The wardrobe, the
direction.
the setting, the direction is very, very rich and nuanced. Okay. And so that's number one. So I think it's a very beautifully shot film.
It really encapsulates the 80s, I would say, right?
Exactly. It was filmed in 79, came out in 80.
Yeah.
So it's a kind of, it bookends the 80s on one side, right? And incidentally, Richard Gere would star at the back end of that decade with Pretty Woman, which is almost another kind of iconic
leading man,
like slick, kind of debonair characterization. Right?
Except this time he hires a prostitute rather than is
exactly. Right, very good. I never made that connection actually. Well done. Okay. So some great soundtrack, including Blondie and Smokey Robinson. Some iconic scenes with the soundtrack kind of complementing the scene. Obviously, the opening shot is one of the great opening shots of all time. Even if you haven't seen the film, you probably know the opening shot with Blondie's Call Me booming in the background with him driving the SL down the Pacific Coast Highway with his hair like shimmering in the SL, all right, and then goes on a shopping spree in Rodeo Drive, all right, all things I wanted to do and still want to do if this
never too late, ladies and gentlemen, never too late
if this podcast takes off at some point, okay. And the other scene, which is very, very iconic, is the wardrobe scene when he's basically getting ready for a night out of seduction, okay, and Smokey Robinson's there you were, mystic traces, and I forgot the rest of the dialogue, but it's a great song, okay, and he's basically like laying down all his shirts, all his suits and all his ties and sort of doing a kind of combine and contrast. Great scene, and then does a bit of the blocano, if you know what I'm saying, which is also known as the disco dust, which is also known as the devil's dandruff, which is also known as the hitting the slopes. Okay,
nose candy.
Okay, exactly. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, so some great shots and some great dialogue and some great and a great soundtrack. Okay, and the birth of Richard Gere's iconic strut and the Blinkathon.
Now, Gere, I know this. Gere, very much known to act through his blinking.
Definitely.
He's synonymous with blinking.
I
think you should give us an example of his different blinks.
So I'm going to break character. I'm going to have to take off my shades.
Oh my God.
Okay? This is a big moment. Do you want to do the countdown?
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Oh, wow. There you are, ladies and gentlemen. There you are.
This is what I really look like. Okay, so
I'm flabbergasted.
So the Gere Blinkathon, I think, commenced obviously with American Gigolo, where he basically cultivated and crafted the slow side head tilt blink.
Right. I mean, it's a style of acting. So what is
do a demonstration?
Please, and tell us what it indicates.
I'm afraid you're mistaken. I don't do that kind of thing.
So it's a pensive blink.
It's a pensive blink, if you like. Okay.
So what other blinks do we have?
Well, later in subsequent films, that were maybe more kind of like highly charged.
Yeah, sure. Just give us the different blinks.
He did the
different genres.
He did the nervous blink, for example, in Primal Fear.
1996's
what's it called? A legal thriller, Primal Fear. Courtroom scene.
Right.
He's getting rattled. Yeah. He's trying to win the case. He's trying to get Ed Norton off the murder rap.
Yeah.
And he's got the great. Guy playing, his name is Shaughnessy. God damn it, I forgot him. The Fraser's dad, whatever his name is.
Yes.
I love that guy.
Okay.
John Mahoney.
Very good.
All right. And John Mahoney's sitting in the witness box and he's trying to interrogate. John Mahoney's the district attorney. And he's like, how much money did you invest in the failed South River deal, John? And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, and then the courtroom erupts into furor, and he's like, what did he do? The Archbishop said no. He said, give you and your investors 60 million reasons to kill him.
Fine. The intense,
high-powered Blinkathon.
Yes. Oh, it's a power blink.
It's a power blink.
Okay,
right?
fine.
And do you want me to do it to you again? I guess?
No. I'm too intimidated.
Then there's the reticent affection blink.
Okay,
which
fine.
he perfected in
for a bit of romance.
Which he perfected in Officer and a Gentleman.
Right.
Which he perfected in Pretty Woman.
Right.
And
American Gigolo as well.
Well, yeah, but you know what? He hadn't really honed it.
It was the birth of the blink.
And it's a bit like this.
Right.
Yes. He nods his head down like this. Yes. And it's like a bit of affirmation. Yeah. Like, and by the way, and you know where I've seen it as well?
Where?
In a much maligned
First Night.
No, Red Corner. Okay. When at the end he's been exonerated on murder charges in behind the in Red China.
Right, yeah.
Right? And Bai Ling, the actress, the whatever her name is in but Bai Ling is the actress. At the end they're having this kind of like intimate, not romantic, but intimate tete-a-tete, because she saved his life and he's going to go back to America and blah blah blah, you know. And she's like, now you have a family on the other side of the wall, and he's giving her the whole yes, you know what yes. So this is the pensive, thoughtful, kind of caring, compassionate Blinkathon,
right?
As perfected by
empathetic,
right?
Okay,
so I can put my glasses back on now.
Okay, fine. So you're done with the blinking.
I'm done with the blinking.
Okay.
And then there's the strut.
Oh, the strut.
But
only in Gigolo.
Not only in Gigolo. Since we're going to actually have to deconstruct some of Gere's career thereafter. But that strut, when he puts on the jacket, he's like, you know, it's almost like it's a more subtle version of Travolta's Saturday Night Fever, okay?
Right.
And by the way, John Travolta was the original choice to play Julian Kay in American Gigolo, okay? Exactly. But because of some personal tragedies in his life at the time, he had to decline the role. Then Christopher Reeve of Superman fame, and you won't believe this, Chevy Chase of
National Lampoon,
absolutely,
Caddyshack, yeah.
Okay, fame were both considered for the role.
Right.
Okay, turned it down. Gere, who was an unknown then, brought in. Giorgio Armani has to redesign the wardrobe to fit a 5'10" Richard Gere instead of a more burly, I don't mean burly, I mean burly John Travolta, who's a bit more heavy set, right? And actually, Richard Gere, by the way, kudos to him and Paul Schrader and Jerry Bruckheimer. I mean, to some extent, they put Giorgio Armani on the map with this, right? In the same way that, I guess, you know, the Miami Vice cast put Gianni Versace on the map some 5 years later. But like Giorgio Armani's kind of birthplace on screen, on celluloid, is in American Gigolo. And that is quite an important footnote, right? Now, the strut, yeah. So I like the strut. We like the blink.
So watch this movie for the birth of the blink, the birth of the strut.
Absolutely.
And
great music.
Great music on.
Okay. Great art direction.
Right.
Okay. And a very, very underrated love story.
Right.
You know,
what's the ending like, though, without giving too much away? Does it live up to the rest of the film?
I think the ending, okay, which ends with a freeze frame shot. I know you have, you know, kind of thoughts about endings with a freeze frame shot, but this has a very, very nice, touching freeze frame shot.
I mean, it's a classic Bruckheimer trope.
It is. It is exactly right.
Yeah.
So this one actually is done very, very effectively, romantically, and subtly, I would say.
Right. Does it end on his blink?
No. It doesn't.
Freeze blink.
No, it doesn't.
Oh,
but it ends on him resting his head against a, what do you call those, like, like mirrors or shields in like prison with visitors.
Oh, okay, fine.
Separating.
Yeah, the glass that separates prisoners
yes,
from.
Exactly. Okay. It's a very, very nice.
Well, you've given a little bit away there, but thanks.
But I'm not telling you like
which side he's on.
Exactly. Well done.
Very good. Okay. This is great. How many out of 10? I'm
going to give it a solid 8 out of 10. By the way.
Okay. Very good.
But for those people who think that it's a film that you know what? Let me just say this. It has a very, very cool trailer.
Right.
And it's a cool film.
Right.
But it's actually much more slow paced as a film than the trailer would indicate. Right. And I remember when I saw it.
So that's why maybe it's not as popular as it should be.
I think,
in your opinion.
I think that one thing to note is that when I was young and I first saw it, I was expecting some sort of, I don't know, like a basic instinct, or kind of like a kind of turbocharged, fast-paced film based on the trailer. Instead, when I watch it for the first time, I'm like, what is this?
Right.
This is like so boring and slow. Obviously, having revisited it with more wisdom and more appreciation for filmmaking
and more desire to become a male prostitute.
Exactly, that's
Fine.
exactly right.
Yeah.
I now appreciate it very, very much.
Very good.
Right?
Very good.
It's also got a frontal nudity scene.
Yes,
which is actually famous for being one of the
with Gere.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Exactly. So you can see his package.
There's another reason.
You want to if you're interested in that kind of thing.
You want to compare and contrast.
I don't know if you want to compare and contrast. And to the point about Gere, by the way, an actor that I dearly love and that you're not so
sold on.
You're not so sold on. I think you feel a bit like ambivalent about him. But why? Why do we diverge on this?
He's a bit kind of samey in all his films.
All right.
Except for that one where he has that Irish accent. Now that's chef's kiss.
You mean the Jackal?
The Jackal.
Whilst you tell me a bit more, let me just think of a line and I'll quote it. But just tell me more about Gere.
I just want to know this. At which point in...
The FBI wants me to hunt down illegal aliens? Yeah. And then Sidney Poitier. What I'm saying, Declan, is you'd be saving a head of state's life. Well, stuff it then.
Do we have an Irish accent, Blink?
Yes, we do. Yes. The FBI wants me to hunt down illegal aliens.
That's good.
Can I get you anything else whilst you're in prison? Because he's getting some favorable treatment. Decent razor.
I think that's excellent.
Yeah,
anyway, so watch the film.
But but you didn't finish with like why you're not so your sync is a bit samey.
It's fine. You've done well. I'll give it a chance.
You've just given it a chance.
Yes.
Okay, very good. So are you gonna watch?
Can you end on the strut, please? Can you give us a little strut?
How do I strut in this like
just strut
2x2 like studio? Shall I try?
By the way, if you haven't seen the film, please watch it, or if you have, please comment. Let us know what you think. Subscribe.
It's a bit of this. It's a bit of this.
Okay, strut that way. Please.
No, wait, hold on. I'm doing this.
Oh, you're warming up. Very good. Strut away. Strut away, young man. Very good.